All right, Brent Bozell, Media Research Center president, and CPAC president Matt Schlapp. Both of you guys knew Charlie Kirk well. Matt, I mean, you held massive events just like him. You understand how these things go down. Security is tight, no matter what. I mean, you're always on edge. I've stood next to you at your own CPAC event while you're getting on stage, and you're still nervous in your own house.
It's true. We were just talking about that. I'm always have anxiety about anybody who comes to one of our events being hurt. I think when you are a public person, you know that you always have this chance. And I'll just say about security, people will say, well, you should take precautions. To secure an area like this that's outside, I just saw the video shots. It takes a really big team. Even President Trump, who had a big security team, not big enough, by the way, but a big security team. You're taking a certain amount of chances. And let's face it, Carl, we're all in God's hands. Yeah. Life is a very tenuous proposition. And I would say that the biggest lesson my wife and I, she came to the Newsmax studio upon hearing about this, and we just grabbed onto each other and reminded each other that, take full advantage of every day. And let's remember Charlie Kirk did. He took full advantage of every day, and he was a great example to so many.
And David, obviously the left's rhetoric has become, I would say, dangerous. I mean, MSNBC is saying that, hate speech deserves hateful actions. Roll this.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
I mean, I would consider that a hateful statement. Should I take hateful actions against him? No, that would be not justified.
Yeah, Carl, that was Matthew Dowd. Right before he said that beauty of a line, he suggested that maybe one of his supporters fired a gun in the air and accidentally hit Charlie. Saying all these things while Charlie is fighting for his life. Listen, I just want to say, as someone who's been involved in the conservative ecosystem for over 20 years, and I know Matt would agree with me, Charlie, every one of us in the conservative media ecosystem would have liked to have done it as well as Charlie did it. I would have liked to have started an activist organization as well as Charlie did. I would have liked to have been as good of a fundraiser as Charlie was. I would have liked to have had the stones to start my own podcast while running doing those two things and growing a family as well as Charlie did. So it's up to us, Matt and I included, to carry on the torch for him and make sure that he does not die in vain here.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, your events are critical, actually, especially at a time like this, to carry on that legacy. We got to make sure we don't forget people like that and what happened and who did it for what reasons.
Yeah, so for me, I'm still in a state of shock here, but and remember, about 10 years ago, I remember Charlie Kirk showed up at a CPAC with about 25 what I would consider youngsters in red T-shirts, Turning Point T-shirts, and it was kind of like one of his first moments. We put him on the main stage, and since then, he just took off, as David said. But look, I think the greatest thing about the conservative movement is we are not going to fight fire with fire. We are not going to engage ourselves in inappropriate acts of violence. We're going to ask God to heal us and to be with Charlie's family and those young kids and his young wife, and the people are going to lead this movement, and we are still going to get America back on track with Donald Trump's help and within a vision of our founders. When that senator said the other day, Tim Kaine said that we get our rights from government, it was shocking to me. Not as shocking as this terrible news tonight, but it's a real devastating thing to know that even people can get elected to one of the highest offices and be such an idiot. And this is the battle we face, getting back to these principles.
David, look, I've been to war. I've seen this stuff firsthand. I've inflicted this type of stuff. I didn't come home to see this on a college campus.
Yeah, devastating for these kids to have to watch that. But I mean, this is where I'm really calling on the media to get right here. I mean, these guys have let Democrat politician after Democrat politician threaten violence against the conservative movement for a number of years now.
Amen.
I mean, how Joe Biden gets away with the MAGA threat is a threat to the brick and mortar of our institutions is beyond me. How, Tara Setmeyer from Lincoln Project called Charlie the enemy. This is what we're fighting against. Frank Ford from The Atlantic accused Charlie Kirk of blaming the Jews for ushering in the invasion at the southern border, and that Charlie wanted to, and Danielle Moody from Daily Beast, Charlie Kirk wanted a Christo-fascist state. He is thinking black and brown people do not have a place in this country. Folks need to get right here. Enough is enough. Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, Steve Scalise, Rand Paul, Lee Zeldin with the knife attack, Tucker Carlson in his front door in Washington, D.C. with Antifa. Enough is enough.
I agree. Well, David Bozell, Matt Schlapp, appreciate it. Stay safe, gentlemen.